He is, of course, the former Capitol Police officer who on January 6, 2021, showed us what bravery really looks like. He protected our country and our democracy from, I don't call them insurrectionists or rioters. They were terrorists. Go look at the dictionary. This man protected democracy. He experienced physical attacks and racial epithets the entire time. In recognition for his role in protecting our capital, former President Biden awarded him the Presidential Citizens Medal. It is a great honor to welcome Harry Dunn to SiriusXM. Good evening, sir. It's good to see you.
Hey, John, good to be with you, my friend. How are you?
I'm wondering how exhausted you are because I imagine you've been doing a lot of media the last 2 days.
The last 4 years, you know, uh,
Yeah.
I've been out there since January 7th. And it's really unfortunate that listening to you saying what I was awarded, these medals and accolades and stuff, and that shit don't mean nothing to me. I traded all in. I've never asked for anything. I've never asked, well, anything tangible, I guess. I just wanted accountability. That's all I've ever sought. That's all I've ever wanted for any and everybody responsible for the failures for that terrorist attack. And you were right to say insurrectionist. Chris
I
Ray,
don't like that word.
Chris Ray, um, shortly after January 6th, called them domestic terrorists, and that's what they were. That's what they are. And now they're out on the streets, walking amongst everybody else with a clean criminal record.
Correct. Correct. I want to read you a couple of comments that people sent in when we said you were going to be on the show tonight
Sure.
because I think your medal matters. I think your service matters. And I think that the real America, the more than half of us who respect your service and know what happened was an abomination, well, that's what the history books will record. For all of this shame, you are going to go down on the right side of history, and nothing can change that. So, Carla writes, "Thank you, sir. You are a hero in my eyes. This fucking 34 count felon will get his for sure." Boyd says, "Many thanks to our Capitol Police officers." Rue says, "Please thank Harry Dunn for his service and courage for me, and know how profoundly sorry I am for how he and all the officers were shit on by a felon. I appreciate the message relay. You know, I know all the hate you got online from these goddamn cowards and Philistines, but you do know how many Americans love your bravery and want to raise sons to be like you."
Yeah, no, John, let's be clear. I received that. I thank people for those super kind, amazing words. I don't take them lightly. They're not in one ear, out the other. On days where I don't feel like saying anything, I realize that those are the people that I'm fighting for. Those are the people that matters. There's a but coming.
Yeah,
But thank you. But
I got it.
America let me down. Plain and simple. And I know I'm not talking to majority of your listeners. I know that. And this message isn't for you all. The message is
You
for
don't
the
think so?
people. This is for the people were too busy, who couldn't find the time to get out and vote, who said, I'm
That's
gonna
right.
sit this one out. This message for all them. Those are the people who failed me. Those are the people who let me down, let America down. Listen, Donald Trump supporters aren't going anywhere. They are who they are. And I would like to think we live in an America where most people aren't okay with the things that he does, the things that he says. Um, I like to think that. I can no longer think that as a rational thought anymore because they proved me wrong. We had the
Yeah.
opportunity to do something different. Not even do something different, just rid yourself of a bad human being. And this isn't
Yes.
even about politics. Like, let's talk, like, let's leave all the liberal border and Ukraine and transgender. Let's leave all of that out of it. I mean, I'm clear where I stand on that. But this is a
Yeah.
horrible human being, politics aside.
Yes.
He's just a really
Yes.
bad person. So this isn't even
Hmm.
about where we're spending our dollars and like, yes, I'm very clear. I'm liberal as shit. I am liberal as fuck. And but we can leave all that out. He's just a
Yeah, that's
very
nothing to do with this.
he's a very bad person. And America failed to reject him. And I like to say it as that. Not necessarily America selected that. because there are 40 millions and 70 million plus who rejected him. But there's also a large amount who did. So America failed to reject him. And
Yes.
that's problematic.
But again, even if he had been elected and even if he had had the election stolen from him, it still would have been amoral to commit these acts of violence. The fact that these acts of violence were done for a lie is a shame on every conservative brother and sister who plays dumb about this and is going along with it. And one of the things I want to ask you about is I have a lot of areas where I'm really disappointed in the media and how we have framed this incident that day. And one of them is I don't know why they won't call it terrorism. The dictionary says it's violence or the threat of violence against the civilian population to bring about policy change. It was terrorism, and they don't have the guts to call it that. But even more so, I get so down because the media doesn't talk about the element of white supremacy on that day.
Yeah.
They were
Well,
flying
real quick,
Confederate flags that breached our Capitol.
yeah,
Go ahead.
while
Well,
you're
just
saying,
let me just say
okay,
the Confederate flags, the fact that this was at the end of the day to overthrow the votes in majority black districts in Arizona and
yeah,
Pennsylvania, which nobody talks about. And I
yeah.
think nobody understands how this was a white supremacist group more than you, sir.
Yeah, no, I wasn't trying to cut you off. I was trying to give your
No,
listeners,
I'm so sorry. Yeah,
no, I was
please.
giving your listeners an assignment to do while you were talking. Pull out your phone right now and Google Harry Dunn insurrection shirt. Because I wore a shirt with the definition of insurrection on it to the first public hearing, the January
That's
6th
right.
hearing. And uh, the definition is clear. It was an insurrection, period. A violent uprising against the government, period.
That's it.
Like what, period. I don't care. It didn't say anything about succeeding. It doesn't say anything about failed. It doesn't say anything about weaponry. It doesn't say anything about tanks and machine. A violent uprising against the government. Give me a damn break, man. But sorry, yeah, that's what I was going to say. But about that Confederate flag, man, listen, I, I don't want to call January 6th a racist event. There were a lot of racist people there. And the reason
Right.
why I won't call it a racist event, the reason why, because I got a lot of white friends who happen to be cops who got their ass whooped that day. I know a lot of brown
Well, that's
people,
why I said
brown,
white supremacist event. That's why I said
yes,
white supremacist
yes,
event. But yeah,
yeah, but they didn't they weren't discriminating with the officers that they attacked.
you're mighty
Um,
right.
so that's the only way reason I'll say that. There were like there were a lot of racists there, you know.
Well, yeah,
Um,
you got called words those white cops
yeah,
don't get called, sir.
correct, correct.
Mm.
So like I said, all insurrectionists aren't racist, but all racists are insurrectionists. I get it, however that goes. But no, let's be clear, man. There was definitely a component of racism and white supremacy in that crowd. A lot of Confederate flag marching proudly down the hall of the U.S. Capitol that was built by slaves.
Mm, exactly right. Exactly right. You did so much to help bring about the January 6th Commission, and I wish they had aimed for bigger fish and they'd gone after some of the insurrectionists in the House who voted to throw out our democracy later that same night. But I wanted to ask you about the late Officer Brian Sicknick.
If I can,
I
can we
have,
pause on that real quick?
yeah,
Don't leave that
go
about
ahead.
doing so much to bring
Go ahead.
about these Harry Dunn doing so much to bring about the hearings.
You
So
did.
no, no, no. Thank you, thank you. But a lot of people have said it was Nancy Pelosi's committee and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what happened because a lot of people don't know this when I tell this story. Me, Michael Fanone, and I'm glad you brought up Brian Sicknick. We're getting ready to talk about him. Mrs. Sicknick, Brian Sicknick's partner, Sandra Garza, us, we went around to the Senate way before the formation of the January 6th committee, way before. And we lobbied senators, Lindsey Graham, Mike Lee, Tim Scott,
Mm.
Mitt Romney, Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins. We lobbied these members to vote yes for a 9/11 style bipartisan commission to investigate January 6th. We
Yeah.
we didn't care how many Republicans were on it. We didn't care. Just do it 9/11 style. Like that seemed to work pretty good, right? A
Hmm.
9/11 style commission. All of them met with us. Mitch McConnell got wind that we were going around meeting with all the members. And we asked Mitch McConnell for a meeting. Mitch McConnell sent out a message while we were meeting with the senators. Do me a personal favor and vote against this commission. Against.
Hmm.
And this is all over the news. I don't know why I didn't get a
Yeah.
lot of coverage.
Yeah.
So we didn't care, me, the officers, the victims, we didn't care if it was Republican led, Democrat. We didn't care. We just wanted it investigated. We wanted it investigated. And that's when Nancy Pelosi said, you know what? Y'all not doing anything. I'll do it. And I'm thankful for her leadership and her desire to get to the bottom of what happened that day.
Right on. Thank you. That's yeah.
So
There's so
that's
many
how the
details
January
that
6th
don't get
commission
enough
came
attention.
about. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you about the late Officer Sicknick because he, of course, was terribly abused that day, and later that night had a stroke and tragically died.
Yeah.
And for 4 years, as you know, we have put up with people on the right wing saying that he did not die as a result of the injuries he sustained a few hours ago, and the stroke was completely random and meant nothing. Now, the coroner, of course, said that it wasn't directly caused by it, but also indicated that it was indirectly caused by it. Harry, how do you respond when you hear these people say that this man dying later in that night had nothing to do with the abuse and bear
Yeah.
spray he endured a few hours earlier?
The fact of the matter is, and nobody can dispute this with half a brain. If January 6th didn't happen, Brian Sicknick would still be alive. Period.
Yes.
Period. Yes, he had two strokes, and the strokes were caused with the events of January 6th contributed to that.
Hmm.
Period. So I don't go, I had to learn. I've had 4 years to practice not engaging with trolls and ignoring and
Yeah.
you know, I used to have this policy where um I wouldn't block people. I would let them be ignorant and I would then block them because I
Yeah.
want people to see their ignorance. Then
Hmm.
people started like personally attacking me and insulting me, hairy, dumb, and blah blah blah, stuff like that. Once you
Well,
insult me,
did they ever give a reason, Harry, just because you protected democracy? Like, why would they attack you?
Donald Trump supporters are rejoiced about what happened. Lauren Boebert tonight was down at the jail. Did you see what she did? She was talking
What
to
did
the
she do?
people who were getting released. It's funny. She was at the jail and she was congratulating the people as they were coming out of jail in DC. And she said, hey, I got votes, but I can't wait to give you all a tour of the Capitol. It's on
Wow.
tape. This is tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
The amorality of it is just stunning. Have you had any Republicans speak to you privately, expressing shame, expressing any kind of showing you any kind of grace? Have any of them come forward to privately say, "I wish that I could do more to honor you guys"? Any of them?
none are in Congress anymore. Why? Because they voted to impeach Donald Trump.
Yeah.
None of them are in Congress anymore. Outside of that, no.
You know, we're trying to get a plaque placed up in the House, and it
Tuh.
was designated a law in 2022, as you well know. And Mike Johnson keeps playing dumb about it every time they ask him about it. Are they trying to actually erase the history, Officer Dunn? Do they think they can actually get away with erasing the history?
They are. They are so far, right? I mean, if it wasn't for a few brave individuals, a few cops who just refused to go away, I mean, how many people would be talking about January 6th? You can name four officers that you know as faces, quote
Yeah.
unquote, as of January 6th. Four. Four. You know, they're trying to like th- it's a law. Like people talk about the plaque. It is Congress voted on it, and it is law that that plaque must
Yes.
be hung in the United States Capitol. The law says that.
That's
And
right.
this was voted on and approved by a Republican-led Congress. So all the politics of it is done because it's law now. So now people arguing about it, you're not playing politics, you're
That's right.
obstructing now. You're obstructing a law. That's what you're doing. Mike Johnson was more concerned about a request of President-elect Donald Trump at the time about having the flag raised. A
That's right.
request rather, and he complied with that request rather, and he didn't comply with the law.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
What a little weasel, man.
It's pathetic. Every time he talks about Christianity, an angel coughs up blood. This guy, what a fraud.
The
You know,
absolute opposite of it, of Christianity. He's a
absolute opposite of
devil.
his Jesus teachings. Yeah, I mean, I'm writing a book about that, and I just want to tell something to our listeners. On Saturday night, we've had a lot of people join us on this tour with Stephanie Miller over the years. Nancy Pelosi's joined us. We've had Lily
Yeah.
Tomlin and Rob Reiner and all kinds of actors and politicians and congressmen. And to see you on this stage with all the outrage, but also with the warmth that you bring. I saw you making people laugh. I saw you being strong for others. And I think more than ever, Mr. Dunn, at this time, the strongest thing we can do when we feel overwhelmed by the shittiness and corruption of all of this is to be strong for other people who are freaking out. And I just want to tell you, I've seen it in your appearances in public at the DNC last summer, and I've seen you who received so much abuse use what you've experienced to be comforting, to be strong for other people. And I think it's the most noble thing humans can do. And it's
Oh,
every bit as heroic as what you did on that day. And I just want to ask you, what is giving you hope at this point, aside from the rage, which you have every right to feel? What is
yeah.
giving you hope?
Man, John, that really means a lot to me, my friend. And I'll tell you what, man, I hate being the strong guy, right? I hate being the person who has to be strong and I don't like to do it.
Yeah.
However, if not me, then who? There's so many people that need somebody to fight for them. I would give the shirt off my back to somebody that needs it. I
Yeah.
I became a police officer for over 15 years because I believed in supporting people. I believed in
Yeah.
helping people. I believe in service. As an officer, I got called, ACAB, all cops are bitches, and
Yeah.
F the police and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm just smiling at people, tell them have a nice day.
Yeah.
It's important though that I don't. Maybe I owe it to my family. I'm an empathetic person, man, and my upbringing. I got four sisters. I have a daughter, so got the little. I love being this protector kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
just
see that.
standing up for people. I just like standing up for people when something's wrong. You say it, and it's lost on me that not enough people do that. Like, no, not enough people say stop it when something's wrong. Like so many people just accept it or don't say anything or it's not my business, you
Yeah,
know?
but that's what I'm trying to say. You're actually a real man. I think these other
I
people, I
appreciate
mean, you
it.
know this better than anyone. Bullies are weakness. Abusive men who take it out on other people are weak. And what you have
Yeah.
done has been exemplify what a
Well,
real
thank
man
you.
is in terms of that you take the strength you have and you use it to protect others.
Well,
That's what a
thank
real
you.
man does.
That
Thank
means a
you.
lot to me. It really does, man. Thank you.
Well, this platform is always open to you. I've wanted to get you on the show forever, and I'm so grateful to finally have you here. I know how discouraging this is, but I want you to know how much love and support you have. We are always open to you. We'd love to have you back anytime in the months to come. Harry, what is the best way for our listeners to follow you and support you going forward and
Well,
keep up
let me
with all your
leave.
doings?
Well, with that, let me leave a little bit of a lot of people don't know what to do right now. They just want to
Yeah.
quit and give up. And I'm just going to
Hmm.
ask, like, if I haven't quit, please don't. Don't quit. I haven't yet, and I'm just asking you to stand with me. And a lot of people say, okay, what does that look like? What do we do? There are elections in 2025 this year. This year, there are
That's
elections.
right.
There are going to be special elections. In 2026, there are midterms. Even before that, there are confirmation hearings. Have you called your senator? and ask them where they stand on denominations. Call you, they work for you. They don't just, they're not supposed to just go to Washington and report back every 2 or 6 years when it's election time.
Yeah.
That's not what their job is. It's our job to hold them accountable because they work for us. Reach out to your congressman. And also, get involved like ACLU and all these different organizations,
Right on.
Citizens United,
Mhm.
all this. I started my own PAC, Harry Dunn's Democracy Defenders,
That's right.
and I just got a call from a group out in Wisconsin that there's a somebody that's running for office or something. Or I have to read the request. Forgive me. Um, about somebody that's a candidate that supports Donald Trump, and they want me to come out there, that type of stuff. We can always continue to speak up,
Brilliant.
get involved, even financially, make a donation to an organization. That it matters. It matters.
Yep.
February 1st, there's an election with the DNC. They're electing a new chair. Pay attention to that. Make sure that chair knows where you stand, where your voice is. Don't wait
Right
till
on.
after the election to want to be heard. Um, Democracy isn't a spectator sport. So I asked the people, check it out. Harry Dunn's Democracy Defenders, Libra Dunn 1 on Blue Sky. I still have a Twitter, but I'm not going to
Me
post and
too.
engage on there anymore. I go on there and I look around, but I don't engage on it anymore. And I also have a Substack, Harry Dunn on Substack. Join it, subscribe, and I I'm not going anywhere.
It's an honor.